I killed 5,000 ender dragons in survival Minecraft, what took me 200 hours. I built this massive map art, what took me almost 1,000 hours. I built this massive wool farm, which took me over 1,000 hours. But this is nothing compared to what we are going to do today. Today we are finishing the project that took me 6 years. From the very beginning of the world. From the planning process. When I was choosing the seed for this world, I had this project in mind. In July 2016, roughly around summer vacation, in my location, I started playing at a world with a sole purpose of sharing that world with other players. Except I didn't manage to figure out how to do a server for like next couple months. And I chose the seed specifically with a quadwitch hut in mind. The quadwitch hut at the time was the peak of Minecraft redstone engineering. You need a special chosen seed, you need to make a perimeter, what was almost unheard of at that time, and you need to build 4 advanced farms to get the best rates imaginable for one of the most precious resources in this game, redstone. During that time, the only other possibility of gaining redstone at a reasonable rate was trading with villagers, what Psycraft presented perfectly with their massive 1.8 trading halls, where they managed to trade for redstone with macros faster than quadwitch hut. Since then, quadwitch huts kind of become useless because of 1.14 edition of raid farms. During the raid, mobs such as vindicators, pillagers, and witches can spawn. And modern day raid farms can produce way more redstone and witches than any amount of quadwitch farms. Even the best possible design of a quadwitch farm that produces around 5,000 items per hour is absolutely nothing compared to the modern raid farm that can produce over 25 times this amount. So first thing I did by loading into this world was just checking around, getting basic resources, and the first location I ever visited with a nether portal was a quadwitch hut several hundred blocks away from spawn location. To just see it with my own eyes, oh my god, I can't believe this is actually a seed with a quadwitch hut in it. There are 4 witch huts in one perimeter. How is this possible? I have never seen this with my own eyes. So 2 months later, I have built the first witch farm. I have never built a witch farm before this point. For the next 10 months, nothing really was done about the topic of building the other 3 witch farms, until in episode 6 of OG series, I have, in May 2017, I have decided to make a slime farm in the perimeter, because I was constantly running out of slime for some reason. Even though I had a really good working farm in the spawn chunks, I was always running low on slime. So I decided to build a bigger, better slime farm in the quadwitch hut perimeter. And in episode 42nd of the OG series, the world was already on a server. Yeah, I finally figured out in April 2018 how do I put a world on a server. But I needed to put it on the server to make a one-way TNT duper, because it was so massive that one person wouldn't be able to load it all. We ran that TNT duper for a long distance. I feel like if I really wanted to, I could have really well used this as a good perimeter, good enough perimeter for the quadwitch farm. But in 2020 I started streaming again once the COVID hit. And in June 2020 I made a 3D TNT duper on a 33 by 33 chunk perimeter, what decided the absolute size of the perimeter. This perimeter, specifically this one, will never be expanded in the future, but still every block around it is supposed to get mined out anyways. And that continued until we had a really secured perimeter, except the fact that there was literally hundreds of thousands blocks of lava everywhere and blocks in between bedrock, and that was really annoying. So we would assume I have finally decided to make a witch farm. I actually have decided to make a witch farm once I got back to streaming, but it wasn't in the quadwitch perimeter. It was next to the storage. I have decided to put a witch farm next to the storage. That would mean whenever I'm in storage, the witch farm is running. And it was providing good enough results. But in episode 4 of Advancedcraft series, I finally decided to make a use of this perimeter and put the output of a wither skeleton farm in the perimeter. Yeah, maybe I didn't thought this one through. But don't worry. Episode 13 is coming just around the corner in April 2021. I put that CCS raid farm in the middle of the perimeter, thinking, oh my god, this is such a ridiculously good idea. No, it wasn't. It was a terrible idea. How am I supposed to AFK a quad witch farm if there's a massive raid farm in the middle and no player can stand when the actual AFK spot is? Yeah, so that didn't work out at all. And also I completely failed putting the raid farm in the correct spot, what basically resulted in the raid farm being 10 times slower than it actually should be, but it still was way faster than the quad witch hut combined with the other witch hut near the storage. Okay, it's been a year. So on May 2022, I finally decided to take down the CCS raid farm that doesn't even work in 1.18 unless you make some modifications, and build the quad witch farms on a stream. So first thing we have to do is of course collecting some resources. Throughout my entire career, I built 6 witch farms before getting back to this quad witch hut on my main server. All the items get collected, shot into water stream to the central storage. Fortunately, another server member logged on to help me a little bit with this, because let's be honest, it would be a pretty long project to build 4 farms that are not that complex, but they are still pretty irritating too. And it's also my first time ever building this farm with Litematica, what also proven really useful, because instead of building this farm for 3 hours or something like that, I managed to build it in like 30 something minutes per farm. Okay, now we just need water streams and a central collection system, and it's almost done. Except we still need to remove a bunch of deep slate everywhere, because a couple months ago we updated to 1.18, what basically changed all the already done perimeters to not be perimeters anymore. After the stream, I built a 3D duper and removed some lava, so we have the perfect perimeter going with no spawning spaces, except the fact that if I want to AFK the wither skeleton farm, we still have some spawning spaces, but that doesn't matter because you don't need a perfectly clear mob cap for your witch farm to run. And that's it for today's video. It took so much time, so much planning, so many changes throughout the versions. In 2016, if you said you have a quad witch hut farm with a perimeter, you were basically some kind of technical Minecraft god. But right now, if you have quad witch hut farm, what is it? Where's your raid farm? Where are your raid farms? Come on, how are you supposed to survive when there is no raid farm? You need a raid farm. Yes, I know. I will build it at some point. Okay, so if you think I procrastinated a lot about what witch hut farm that literally took a couple hours to finish, then subscribe to not miss the future episode where I survived 5 years without a working raid farm. That's it for today's episode. Take care and see you next time.